You know the saying, jump the shark? Forget the shark. Police Academy 7 jumped the planet. Not many movies reach the number 7. There's a good reason why. They either turn into cash grabs or just total crap. Police Academy Mission to Moscow, they don't even number it anymore, has the honor of being both. Just in case you've never heard of the Police Academy movies, I'll give you a crash course rundown. Police Academy originally starred Steve Guttenberg as Carrie Mahoney. The series followed a bunch of unique characters who have all kinds of backgrounds that you would never expect becoming police officers. But somehow they beat the odds, showcasing anyone can make it. Now the series is known for its raunchy and slapstick humor. If you see any of the trailers, it mostly focuses on that. First glances can put you off. There's a character in the second film that eats cereal where his cat pooped into it. It's a weird movie series, I'm not going to say no. Mahoney was the main lead. He's the average dude arrested because he destroyed a car at his worthless job, basically forced to join the police academy to learn discipline or get thrown in jail. And it keeps going. He meets his new friend Larvell Jones, who loves to mimic sound effects, getting him in trouble all over the place. He has other talents, including karate. The zaniest never stops. Laverne Hooks, the low, meager-voiced woman who always tries to be kind. Douglas Fackler, the accident-prone dude. If you're standing next to him, run. Moses Hightower, big man, big heart, protects his friends. Eugene Tackleberry, former military officer, has an extreme obsession with guns, and they're all under the command of Lieutenant Harris, the douchebag of the series. He hates everyone who doesn't follow orders or sucks up to him. Of course, he has no respect for our heroes. He just sees them as not worthy. But everyone gets a chance thanks to Commandant Lassard, the guy who runs the police academy. A bit forgetful, way too obsessed with fish, but still somehow is a good leader by lots of luck. How did being goofy cops and dumb humor become a franchise? The characters were real. People have been in positions like Mahoney and Jones. You screwed up, but got that second chance. But also, the writing was on point. Everyone got won over with the cast. When that climax happened, the writers were able to turn these delinquent characters into real heroes, saving lives and gaining respect. A lot of the characters got some really cool arcs. And as they went along in the sequels, we got new bad guys, new heroes, bad guys turning into heroes, but eventually they ran out of ideas. The jokes became less funny, the worst being in this movie. They did come up with a lot of cool characters, but rotated them out so often and eventually lost Guttenberg after the fourth film. That's when the quality started going really down. I personally think the first two police academies are the best. Another thing that happened was the series attracted a younger audience, so after the first film, the movies went from rated R to PG-13. It was a downgrade because it started giving them more excuses to do cartoonier jokes. One being in 7, where Jones is able to unlock a safe by mimicking knob clicks. Yes, movie 7 is very sad. Even the villains started getting watered down. They're a hit or miss, and over time, actors started to drop off. Not all the blame goes on Academy 7. This was a building problem. They did always rotate characters out and brought in new ones, but they never really took advantage of that. It would have been cool if each sequel gave focus to other characters, but they kept introducing more new ones, so they got stuck in a loop. New character, but barely have time to expand on the old ones. This is the one positive I can give 7. Characters that didn't get much screen time finally did, but only because they were forced to. Only 5 of the main actors came back, but they still squandered it. By the 5th movie, the series ran its course. They lost their main actor, and all the attempts to replace Mahoney never really worked. I'll get into that later. 80% of the cast did not return to 7, but the most insulting was the writing. The writers did not care about the character's personality past their shticks. You could see that when they're doing things out of character just to make a bad joke. Let's talk about the plot. A Russian mafia leader, Konstantin Kanali, created the game. Yes, that's really what it's called. Some garbage, addictive video game with a punching bear or some crap. No care or quality was done for this. They had the game playing on a Game Boy. I just love watching actors fake video gaming, especially when they forget to put a cartridge in the Game Boy. and the times we see the game, it's in color and on a PC screen. The whole thing is about this game being a front. There was a lot of burglaries, none of it's clear. At first I'm thinking the game is so popular people are stealing it, but the movie is saying that the game has a built-in virus allowing Connolly to rob places. But the game is mostly shown on Game Boys. That doesn't let you do that. Then later in the film, Connolly wants to make a second game where he can use it to hack into the world's computer, gaining control of them. You don't get it, I don't get it. They were taking advantage of people not understanding computers in the 90s. The writers just didn't care about the details. The thing I don't understand, they were able to get Ron Perlman and Christopher Lee to play Connolly and Commandant Rakoff. I don't get why they took these roles. All the actors knew this was crap. Most of them felt lifeless, they looked tired. Then again, it could have just been the bad writing, not understanding the characters at all. Not to mention the horrible jokes. Virtually all the jokes did not land. They even forced jokes in post. It's extremely obvious they realized the movie was gonna bomb, so they were doing anything to try and save it. There's two scenes that stick out really bad. The first one shows off the writers don't know the characters. Captain Harris, he's the antagonist character, always hated everyone and everyone hated him back, so the heroes always did things to him. Or he had his dumb assistant, Lieutenant Proctor, screw up, which made him screw up. But Harris, in general, is the smartass character. But for some reason, when the team is being briefed about their assignment, Harris is eavesdropping on their conversation. When I first saw the movie, I thought the film was going to make Harris the bad guy. I was like, wow, they really want to go in this direction? I gave them way too much credit. Instead of being about him turning into a double agent or something, he's doing this just because he's the team's intel officer all of a sudden. Like, what the hell? This is just for jokes. Oh, people laugh when they had characters glue their hands on their head. Let's have Harris be pulled through a wall. They literally have the team pull him through the wall with his headphone wires. This is out of character. This is something Proctor or Zed would do, but it's not even funny. Even the music doesn't save the scene, and Robert Folk's music is the only good thing the movie has. The second moment was when Tackleberry is talking about his gripes being a police officer. And you know he's this crazy, obsessed military guy, but the one thing he knows and doesn't fool around with is his guns. Because the movie was dead and not funny, the ending has Tack put his gun back, you hear him drop it, and it fires. He would never do something like that, and it was so badly put in as a post-edit. You realize the scene wasn't funny, but you made it worse with the forced joke? Another thing that ticked me off, for the most part, Lassard didn't get much to do in the past movies. He usually starts the movie and then gets praised by the team saving the day. Well, the seventh movie finally has him a part of the story. I thought that was cool, but it doesn't actually get used. Instead, they go through this stupid joke where he gets lost in Russia when he takes the wrong car going to a funeral. He's not with the main cast, and they have this horrible running joke where the Russians try to cover this up with a guy staying in his room saying, "I'm in the bathroom, meet you there." It's almost funny the first time, but this happens over and over again. It made everyone look stupid. You can clearly hear the guy is not American, and no one ever goes into his room or sees Lassard for days. What was the point of having Lassard then? You might as well had him stay in the US and just cut back to him getting into dumb issues. The biggest letdown was the final act. Usually in every PA movie, there's a finale using everyone in a big action sequence. The first film has the riot in the city. The fourth had the hot air balloon chase and plane. 7 has a really bland car chase. I understand at the time it was hard shooting in Russia, but the biggest moment in your film was an unfunny car chase and not anything really involving Connolly? Yes, I know Lassard sword fights Connolly at the end, but because it was treated as a joke, plus the actors were not good in fighting, whether done for another joke or not, it didn't have any type of tension. Speaking of Russia, with the exception of a few outdoor scenes, the car chase, and the opera hall, Russia was heavily underutilized, where for most of the movie takes place in restaurants, yachts, homes, and lots of hallways. They might as well had filmed the movie in the US. The Russian cast wasn't really anything of note we haven't seen before. Katrina Sergeeva was the love interest to Cadet Connors, and Lieutenant Talinsky was basically a Captain Harris. Christopher Lee did an alright Rakoff. He was the only character that was serious through the whole film. The worst characters were the Moe, Larry, and Curly ripoffs. They were this trio of officers. They had good skills as gymnasts, but the movie decided to have their voices be from Kamen Rider because all they do is make ee noises, and I thought Zed's screaming was annoying. Nothing in the film is memorable. You're disappointed that characters are not funny, especially when they force jokes in post, like when Harris farts. Or they just act stupid. Villains are generic. You could easily just transpose the Russian mafia to the Italian mafia and it would change nothing. Connolly wasn't menacing at all. So why hire Ron Perlman for the role if you aren't going in a serious direction? And then we have Cadet Connors, who is the second bad attempt at being another Mahoney. I get that actors want to move on and Mahoney was the core of the PA series, but trying to redo him with other characters, you might as well just recasted Mahoney with a new actor. Even though I don't have a problem with Connors as a character, he has a knack with computers, sucks with women, kind of feels like a young brother of the team, but when they turn on Mahoney mode, yeah, I don't want to see your clone. You know what's actually funny about the movie? It's one of the shortest movies I've watched, and it still feels slow and boring. This didn't even air on TV because it didn't reach 90 minutes. There's really not a lot I want to keep from the original movie for the rewrite. I think what I want to use is Chris Lee and Ron Perlman, the game and virus idea. Going to Russia, I would scrap. Instead, I'll take advantage of the UK actors they hired. Another big change I would do, I'd make this the final PA movie. It's the 7th one, too many movies as it is, so I would want to wrap up the series in some good way. The one thing I would do is bring back the drama action finale from the first film. I would have Ron Perlman play a very serious final villain for the team. He would mostly be isolated from what's going on, having people report to him about screw-ups and plans and whatnot. The cast would stay the same with one addition. I would bring back Commandant Mauser from the second and third films. He acted as Harris's replacement at the time, and I would like to see how the two would interact with each other. They would agree on a lot of things, but I also see some places where their big heads would get them in trouble. Cadet Connors would be removed from the film. We don't need a new Academy character introduced in the final film. I would instead make Jones be the main lead of the film. He was Mahoney's friend in crime. Let him end the series on the same note. Since this is also the final film, I would give some closure to a few characters. We can catch the ending bits of Jones talking to Mahoney on the phone where he tells us what he's been up to. I would probably also mention Zed and Sweet Chuck. As for the missing characters, I would give that to Captain Callahan when we found out she and Nagata still have a thing going on between them and she is going to be leaving Lazar's group like the others to be with Tomoko, move on with their lives. This gives more weight to Callahan when she goes undercover to get Perlman's character. Other changes, since no more Russian story, that would be changed to Chris Lee's character coming from the UK, where he wants to see an old friend, Lazard, and how the American police force operates. Katrina I want to also keep, but instead have her also come from the UK as an officer exchange student, where she gets to enroll into the various academy programs, so we still have that element done in the movie. I would also have Lazard be used through the entire film with the main cast. I would keep him, of course, the same. He would get into stupid nonsense, but I want him to also go into action hero mode for the finale so we get to see why he's the Commandant. How does the game fit into the story? Just like the original film, instead of having a virus take control over the computer systems around the world, have it be focused on the police academy systems. It could still be a video game that was introduced by Katrina's character, which we would find out she's working for Perlman's character. The goal is to find the locations of all the characters through the 7 films and have them eliminated. Ron Perlman's character would be tied to Tony, the bad guy from Police Academy 5. Katrina's character would befriend the main cast, allowing her a chance to break into the school's records. The team would split up and stop assassins from killing everyone. We could get a few guest appearances from some of the old characters like Fackler and his wife. Callahan and Tackleberry get captured on base while everyone else was going after the others. The only reason why they remain alive is because Callahan uses her assets to buy them time while the guys expose Katrina's character, where we have a final big showdown with Perlman's character in gunfights and hand-to-hand combat while Tackleberry winds through it. But he does get the final shot disarming Perlman's character. It's a very basic rewrite, but something's better than what the movie did. A lot of people consider the movies getting bad, even right from the second film. I agree that the movies just repeat things over and over again. They had that lightning in a bottle with the first film. Instead of expanding on the core characters, they just kept slapping in new characters. Imagine if the Avengers movie started with Avenger 1, and then in each movie kept introducing us to 3 more characters. Then take out 4 characters, all while not having solo films. There was no chance to grow, with a few exceptions, and in some cases they reverted them. Tackleberry had a wife and son, and then that just disappears. This 7th movie should not have existed. The series was already in a crappy state. It kept getting more and more kid-friendly, and Mission to Moscow destroyed what was left thanks to the producers and director wanting different things. While it was impressive they filmed in Russia and got Christopher Lee, it caused half the cast to get cut, which in return forced the script to be rewritten late. Harris was not supposed to be in the film. That's why he was out of character. At this point, I would have just abandoned filming in Russia, rewrite the background of the movie to the US, get the bulk of the cast back on, and end the series. It probably still wouldn't have been good, but it wouldn't have become its grave.